Rochelle paid her credit card bill on time for 6 years, never once late, never once missed. She never paid it off until a Tuesday night in her kitchen, with a shoebox of old statements on the table. She finally understood why. She was 35 now, the dishes were done, her daughter was asleep down the hall, and Rochelle sat with a pen and a blank page because she had decided to write a letter to someone who no longer existed. The 29-year-old version of herself, the one who was about to open an envelope she had not opened yet. "Dear Rochelle," she wrote, "the car is going to break down in March. I need you to know that before it happens." What she did not know then was that the decision she was about to make would follow her for 6 years, not because she was careless, but because she trusted a box on a piece of paper to tell her the truth. 29-year-old Rochelle worked the front desk at a dental office in Charlotte. She clocked in at 8. She smiled at nervous patients. She checked insurance cards and answered phones and drove home in a Honda with 140,000 miles on it. The car needed a new transmission, $2,400. She did not have it. She had a credit card with a limit high enough to cover it, so she put it on the card and told herself this was temporary. The statement arrived 3 weeks later. 2 boxes printed near the bottom. One said pay in full, $2,400. The other said minimum payment due, $58. She checked the second box. She did not read what was printed underneath it, in smaller type, about how long this would actually take. This is the part of the story most people skip past because it looks so small. A 29-year-old with a car repair and a reasonable plan. Nothing reckless here. Nothing that looks from the outside like the beginning of anything. But the minimum payment on a credit card is not designed to get you out of debt. It is designed to keep you paying for as long as possible while still calling you responsible. $58 a month, and most of it, nearly all of it, goes to interest before it ever touches what she actually owes. Rochelle did not know this. Nobody had ever sat her down and shown her the math. She just saw a box, checked it, and moved on with her week. Month 1, the balance barely moved. Month 6, it had barely moved again. She was not worried. Her account was in good standing. No late fees, no angry calls, just a small charge every month, quietly leaving her checking account, quietly not fixing anything. By year 2, the balance had actually grown, because life did what life does, and a few more charges landed on the same card during a hard month. She kept paying the minimum. She kept believing that was the responsible thing to do. But here is what nobody in that story knew yet. The box she checked in March was not a bridge out of debt. It was a toll for staying in it. $2,400 was on its way to becoming something closer to $5,000, and it would take her past 6 years to find that out. That number from the beginning, the $58, it matters again now, because $58 a month for 6 years is over $4,000 on a debt that started at $2,400. She had paid nearly double the original charge, and the account still was not clear. Year 4 was the hardest stretch. Rochelle sat down on the kitchen floor one night. Statements spread around her like a card she had lost the rules to. She thought about her daughter, asleep down the hall, and the college fund she had not started. She thought about the version of herself who checked that box without reading the fine print, and she was not angry at that woman, just tired. She sat there for a long time, not moving, not fixing anything. Then something shifted, not loudly, not with a decision announced to anyone. She just stood up, picked up the stack of statements, and started reading the numbers she had ignored for 4 years. The old voice came back that night, and it was loud. It said, "You are bad with money. You have always been bad with money. This is who you are." She sat with that for a minute. Then she picked up a pen anyway and started writing down every balance on a single sheet of paper. Debt does not sit still while you sleep. It breathes. It grows in the dark, quietly, whether you are thinking about it or not. And the people who owe it are usually the last to notice it is still alive. Rochelle called her card issuer the next week and asked, for the first time, what her actual interest rate was. Day 1 of that call, she felt foolish for not knowing. Day 5, she made a spreadsheet. 1 column for balance, 1 for what would happen if she paid $20 more each month. Her sister told her it wouldn't make a difference. That debt was just something you carried now. Day 12, a friend commented that Rochelle was being dramatic about just a credit card. Day 18, tired and behind on everything else, Rochelle almost stopped updating the spreadsheet. She did not stop. She opened it anyway, typed in the number, and closed her laptop. 6 weeks later, for the first time in 4 years, her balance was lower than it had been the month before. Not by much, $11, but it was the first time the number had ever gone the right direction on its own math. Not an accident. It took her 2 more years to finish. 2 more years of paying more than the minimum, on purpose, every single month. But she did finish, and the night she made the final payment, she did not celebrate. She just sat at the same kitchen table, pulled out the oldest statement in the shoebox, and looked at the box she had checked 6 years earlier. This time, she read what was printed underneath it. The line that said how many years this would take if she only paid the minimum. It had been there the entire time. Being current on a debt is not the same as being free of it. The minimum payment was never a way out. It was the toll for staying exactly where you are. Rochelle finished her letter that night. She did not mail it anywhere because there was nowhere for it to go. She folded it once and placed it inside the same shoebox, on top of the old statement, with the 2 boxes at the bottom. If there is a version of you right now, looking at a bill, deciding which box to check, you do not have to check the one that only asks for the minimum. Read what is printed underneath it first. That's all this story is really asking of you. If this story gave you something you needed, subscribe. There are more waiting.